Well, the Deni is an Indian group that lives in a very remote area of the Amazon, and they were contacted maybe in the 30s or 40s by rubber tappers. And living in this remote area, they became almost totally isolated. And they live close by to another group that it has never been contacted before. This is the Himarima. And in total, there are 7 Indian nations in this area. And we approached this issue, in fact. We were looking for an area that was bought by the giant Malaysian logging company, WTK. And they bought this area in this place, 313,000 hectares of land. And we went there to check the land, and we discovered that 50% at least of the area that was bought by this Malaysian logging company were in fact Indian land, belonged to the Deni. And they didn't even know about that. So we informed them, and they asked for our support on helping them getting back their traditional land. And this is what we are doing right now.
Did the Deni understand the concept of property, of ownership?
No, they don't have the concept of boundaries, for instance. You know, they believe the forest belongs to them. And the part of the work that we did in the last 6 months is with them was to show them what means property, which is a new concept for them. And this is a cultural shock, in fact. But we need to do it because if they do not understand this, they will lose everything.
Is this a land grab going on in the Amazon like in the American Wild West? When we put the railroad across the United States, the Indians were robbed of their lands, basically. Is that what's going on here?
Not exactly, because the Indian groups here are claiming for 20%, 25% in fact, of the Amazon region. In the U.S., you have a much more aggressive process of conquership and a colonization. Here is as it's still too remote, and we are living in a different period of time where the public opinion is much more concerned by the rights of minorities such as the Indians are.
Describe the Deni. What are they like?
They are, in fact, a small group. They are less than 700 Indians. They are short, very nice, very. They liked a lot to laugh, to smile. They like dancing and the parties all the time. In fact, they live from party to party. They have a word for this, is ima amozinaha, what means the continuation of a good talk. Mm-hmm. So party is a very nice concept that they live for parties, in fact.
So a gentle people, how do they feed themselves? Are they farmers? Are they hunters? What do they do?
They are basically hunters and fishers. They live close to the river. There's a beautiful black river in their area, full of mosquitoes. God damn it. And they fish, basically, and they plant something, manioc and some crops, and sugarcane. They love sugar.
How do the Deni protect themselves from the bugs and the wildlife?
They don't. This is one of the big problems they have. To escape from the white man, and also to be in contact with, it's a contradiction, but to be also in contact with commerçants, traders, because now they depend on sugar, for instance, or salt. They came to live close to the river, to the border of the river, to the bank of the river, and where you have millions of mosquitoes. So what colonization give to the Deni? In fact, mosquitoes. You know? Mm-hmm. We brought them to mosquitoes.
How about disease?
They have huge problems of malaria, for instance. We spend, every time we go there, we have a doctor with us because they have a big problem of malaria, dental problems also. Mm.
So in some ways it is parallel to the American, Native American experience. What we did and how we brought our diseases or how we dislocated tribes and
Yeah.
they became vulnerable in a way they historically had not been.
Yeah, for sure. And I think we are, in fact, we are doing the same thing here. When the Portuguese arrived here 500 years ago, there was maybe 10 million Indians in Brazil. And now they are reduced to 200,000 to 300,000 maybe Indians. So we almost...
Do you think that the movement to stop the exploitation of the flora, the fauna, the people of the Amazon jungle, the movement, did it start soon enough, or is it too late and you're only slowing what is an inevitable, inexorable process?
I think it starts late, but not too late. If we think the majority of the tropical forest has gone, 80% of the forest worldwide has gone, but we still have this forest here, for instance, the Amazon rainforest, and here 30% is degraded or disappeared, but we still have a lot for fighting for. You know, we still have enormous, beautiful, amazing jungle.
Paulo's assessment that you started late but not too late.
I think humanity, Western civilization, has started a little bit too late, learned its lessons a little too late around the world. But there's still so much here in the Amazon that's left. How many uncontacted tribes?
50 Indians that we never had contact before.
50 tribes that don't have satellite TV?
50 tribes that never heard any other language than themselves, their own language.
But I think it's really important for Americans in particular to understand that I think Americans have a very Hollywood romanticized perception of Brazilian Indians.
Yeah.
And there are, as Paulo just said, 50 uncontacted communities, and I think most of them are probably aware that there is a world outside, but they do not want to make contact. So it is the official policy of the Brazilian government now not to make contact with them. But for the probably vast majority of indigenous populations in the Amazon, contact has been made, and they are interested in a lot of things that the outside world has to offer. And it's a paradox, because on the one hand, you cannot put these people in a bubble and say, you know, we from the outside will not let you change, when in fact there are some things that they're interested in, including medicines, including just a better quality of life. So it's a very delicate line with the vast majority of indigenous populations that have had contact.